Here now is Frank McKenna, former Canadian ambassador to the United States. Ambassador McKenna, welcome to the program from Toronto. I know you were listening to that very lively and wide-ranging press conference, but let's just stick to the conversation as it relates to Canada. Prime Minister Carney campaigned as the man for the moment, saying that he does not make a good leader when times are calm, but he is the man when there is a crisis. Given that he is a political novice as he went into that Oval Office meeting with the president, how do you think he fared?
I thought he did terrific. He really had a difficult challenge because Canadians are extraordinarily upset and very united in their animosity at the present time towards the President of the United States. But he also is sitting down with our biggest client, ally, friend. And he needs to demonstrate that a respectful relationship and a mutually profitable relationship can be achieved.
Well, he seemed well prepared and rehearsed that line specifically about Canada not being for sale, addressing him as a real estate expert, saying, you know, real estate well. Some things are not for sale, including our country. We noted that he is a political novice. He was a former banker at Goldman Sachs. He was a central bank head of Canada and also the head of the Bank of England. So he comes with vast experience as it relates to economics and as it relates to this crisis at hand for the nation. I'd like to play sound for you from some of the opening exchanges between the two leaders, which were actually quite cordial.
It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take vote credit.
You're a transformational president, the focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world.
You see the president there nodding in agreement with the analysis there offered by Prime Minister Carney. Was that the right approach in your view?
I think one has to be respectful, but not obsequious. Canadians would never tolerate our Prime Minister genuflecting to the President. Canada's a sovereign country. Canadians are united. 40 million people are all united in support of our country, and that is really the proper course for a Prime Minister to take, to respect the President for the office that he holds, but not to be genuflecting and being obsequious towards him at all. There's no need for that.
The Prime Minister went on to say that there are some areas where they definitely can work on, and that is Canada investing more in its own security and defense, also its contribution as it relates to GDP percentage for NATO. He credited President Trump for revitalizing NATO, but he also reminded the president that Canada is the largest client of the United States. And I'm curious how he should, we didn't see this litigated in front of the cameras, but behind closed doors, how should he push back on just the false math that the president continues to broadcast about the trade deficit? He continues to say that it's around $200 billion as it relates to Canada. When you take out oil, first of all, it's actually about $60 billion. You take out services, it's half of that. And then you take out the oil that the United States buys from Canada, and we actually have a surplus here. How would you advise the Prime Minister to remind the president that the facts that he's coming to these negotiations with are just wrong to begin with?
Well, you're well informed. That's exactly the math, and every Canadian knows the math. We buy more from the United States than any other country in the world, more than the entire European Union put together. But that's not all. Our trade relationship is almost in balance, which is almost miraculous considering it's the largest trading relationship in the world. The surplus in Canada's favor that you mentioned is almost a rounding error in the relationship. And we provide all of these raw materials which take jobs out of Canada in the case of oil and aluminum and steel and potash and uranium, and export them to the United States. So it's a big net plus for the United States. So I'm convinced the The math will be discussed in great detail. Somehow or other, we've got to tell the president, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your facts. And the facts are that Canada is an extraordinarily important contributor to the United States economy, and that we're all better off in Fortress North America than we are going on our own. But I think the Prime Minister and his ministers will be emphatic about that, because it is really irritating to Canadians to hear this false claim repeated over and over again when it's just factually not true. None of it is true.